What's up, everybody? Rob Gill, Epic Financial Strategies, and today we're going to talk about what happens if you don't file a tax return. Hey, everybody. Today I have with me one of my best partners in the space of true planning when it comes to having the client on the same page. His name is Anthony Mauriello of Mauriello Enterprises. What's up, Anthony?
What's up, Rob? How are you? Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me, Rob.
Oh my God, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
It's amazing.
Thank
I
you
love
much,
you have
I've
no
missed
idea.
You.
This
I have
is
missed
like
you.
He is a entrepreneur, a real estate genius, and a blue collar, bring his pail to work every day. Has how many practices? 4 or 5?
I've got four offices.
Four offices in 3 different states?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 4 offices in 3 different states, and he brings it every single day. And Anth, can you talk a little bit real quick before we get into anything? What happens if you don't file a tax return?
You know, any number of things. So I can't answer that right away.
Yep.
Any number of things are going to happen if you don't file a tax return. Number one, if you should have and didn't, the IRS is going to send you a letter. Might not come today or tomorrow, but they're going to send you a letter because what you get reported in your mailbox, they get reported in theirs. So they know everything about you. So if you don't file, they know you should. You're going to get a letter requesting, hey, Rob, you didn't file a tax return yet. No big deal, just a very gentle touch. They call it a gentle touch letter. If you don't respond to that, what's going to happen? A little bit more of an aggressive letter. Finally, the IRS is going to do what they call an SFR, substitute for return. You don't want this to happen. That is their statement of them saying, Rob, you know what? Don't file. You ever see, what movie was that? Now You Can't Leave.
Yes.
So they're pretty much saying, you know what, Rob? Now don't file a return. We're going to file one for you. Here's our bill.
Yes.
Now at that point, all is not lost. We can still file your return. And I can digress a little bit as to why people even find themselves in this position.
Well, I'm sure from an emotional standpoint, avoidance is what really, and they're scared to really overcome a fear and they think it's bigger than it really is.
Absolutely.
And then it just gets comfortable with avoiding it, right? So
Correct.
at least talk to the psychology because you have saved so many people's lives. I've seen it.
Thank you, Rob.
Personally. Can you talk to the psychology? Because there could be some people listening right now that are just scared to file because they think, hey, I might as well not do it now. I haven't done it yet.
Correct. Exactly. And it becomes easy not to. And even those letters, you know, once we try to calm people down and let them know, hey, you're not in this alone. You're not the first client who has come to us in this position. Once that is done, the shoe boxes come in, the bags come in. Here's all the letters I've received unopened. Now some people have all of their information and some don't. Yeah. Now what happens again, you've been dodging these letters. Maybe it's a year or two out and you finally got a bill, an intent to levy. Some people go as far as, hey, I got a wage garnishment. And when we step in and do the representation work, I could find exactly what you did file, what you didn't file, the balances that you have due, and really do a good service for the client in doing what the IRS calls a compliance review or a compliance check. Yeah. Armed with that information, I could let you know if I could use you as an example.
Sure.
Okay, Rob, I see from your compliance review with the IRS, you did not file 14, 15, 16. Yep. You filed 17, you didn't file 18 or 19.
Yeah, so folks, this is the power of anticipation, right?
Correct.
And because of that, because we talk about that a lot, Anthony can identify behaviors and patterns, but also solve the problem, define the problem in solvable terms with action steps.
We'll come out proactive. So once we are armed with this information, and I know all of this information about you, I can say, okay, Rob, tell me about those years. I don't know, I moved a lot, I worked here. Even at that point, I could get transcripts from the IRS.
And you still have to be honest with Anthony.
Absolutely, I'm on your side, yeah.
He's not here to hurt you, so like when you say, I don't know where I was, but you knew where you were, you might want to tell him and his team so they could best serve you.
And like you just said, from what I've found, that first hurdle, that first jump, coming into my office or calling the office, that's the hardest part. Yep. Because I am literally going to push you aside and lay down for you, deal with the IRS. They're not going to call you anymore. We're going to deal with them. Yep. We're going to obtain all of your information, all of your tax transcripts for every single year in question. Yep. And we're going to file those tax returns for you. So what happens if you do not file a tax return? Yep. Worst case scenario, SFR comes to you and a tax bill in the mail. Somewhat of a best case scenario, maybe not 9 out of 10, but I think you said it before, it's anticipation. 6 out of 10 people are due a refund. They maybe don't know they would do a refund. They don't care they would do a refund. Psychologically, there's a block there. And when it comes down to it and we do the return, I mean, obviously at that point, it's our pleasure to say, hey, did you know you're going to get $8,000 back from filing these missing returns?
So what I'm hearing Anthony say is you don't have to go off the grid and live in the mountains of Wyoming. Just file your tax return and get with a team that can help navigate through the seas of uncertainty to create a massive action plan on how to get you to where you want to go and feel really comfortable. Because if you can imagine if all of that stress is off your shoulders and you could take your mental energy and apply it towards whatever business or whatever you're doing in life and use that as an opportunity to put money back into your pocket where it belongs, that's what this is about. So, Anth, listen, you are like an incredible, I don't even use, not that this is bad, but I don't even use the word accountant because the industry norm accountant is typically a historian. They kind of tell you what had happened. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about you is your proactivity as well as your entrepreneurial approach to things. How do you approach clients and what do you look for? I mean, you've done amazing things for me personally and here at Epic as well.
Thank you much. So clients find me. Obviously we look for clients, but most of the clients just look for me. Yeah. So depending on, it's not a cookie cutter, depending on what that client is, if you're a multi-year non-filer, first thing I'm going to do is identify your needs, your concerns. We're going to bring you up to speed. And then, like you said, Rob, I'm going to be proactive for you. Hey, what got you in this position? Change your mailing address to my office if you have a fear of the mail, and I'll get your W-2s. When they get here, I'll call you and we'll do your tax return. So I'm just looking to help people. I'm not necessarily looking for any customized person. That need might change drastically from somebody in your position who is also entrepreneurial, who has many ventures going on, who seeks to serve and help other people, putting their needs many times before the needs of your own, where I got to pull you back and say, Rob, selfless service, cool, but we've got to address your stuff.
Tell me more about why you want to help people.
I just enjoy it.
You just mentioned that.
Yeah, I honestly, I really enjoy it. And I think that this I can easily say 9 out of 10 people. Before I said it's not 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 people, COVID or pre-COVID, will hug me when they leave. Because I think, not to toot my own horn, but I think I genuinely can make people feel comfortable and realize not to be blasé about it. This is very serious. It could be criminal, this is a very serious matter. However, the fact that we deal with it so often and the fact that I want to hear your story, I think people just genuinely feel better when they leave. And that feeling is just like you say, you know what, this is not an accountancy for me. Like, this is just cool knowing that, we have people who are legit, like maybe not sticking their head in their sand, but have just been sick and couldn't file those returns. And that's only adding to their ailments. To just relieve that, it's almost like a doctor being able to make somebody feel better.
And for all the folks that are out there that have been seriously business-wise, not even health-wise, affected by COVID, what is your conversations like? What is your, people that just can't be in the same business that they were in 6 months ago?
Yeah. And we've had many of them. This too it's uncharted waters. This has, in non-discriminately, is that a word? This did not discriminate any industry. So we have retail shoe stores on 86th Street in Brooklyn, bakeries on 86th Street in Brooklyn. We have bars and restaurants and cash businesses who have prided themselves on being cash businesses, and we're a bar and we're recession proof, and this just almost obliterated everybody. And you can still see it going on with the restaurants having limitations and things like that on it. So like we said earlier, you try to first breathe. We try to ascertain, okay, well, what position are we in now? Did you take any of these government benefits? Did you take a PPP program, the EIDL, which were the SBA's attempt to help these small businesses? Now we got to make a decision with that. And this too can kind of spider crack into a number of different conversations. But we want to plan for, if you are a small business, what position are you in now? Do you have a cash burn rate? Is your industry going to exist?
All questions.
We have large, not REITs, but we have large commercial holding property clients, and their buildings are 80% unoccupied. Those tenants may not return soon. They may not return ever. So do you repurpose that? Do you sell it? Do you just do a bunch of different planning.
So for all you folks that are out there, you are not alone. Don't think you're alone, and there's always help if you put your hand out there and ask for it. These videos are meant to serve and provide world-class education, bring in real stories, and if you want to hear more of what Epic has to bring on a daily basis, please click the link below and hit that subscribe button, and look out for our next video that's going to provide world-class education.